Along with other things, the seats suffered badly in those 3 decades of storage. But I think we can bring them back to reasonably decent. Well, that's a heartening start. That's just scrubbed with some dishwashing liquid and warm water. Starting to dry out. But if we can get that sort of result everywhere, I'll be pretty happy. So let's see what we've ended up with after a good scrub down. Really, it's quite remarkable to survive this well. There are a few bits and pieces I'll show you, but when you think of the life it's led, and it's survived this well, quite amazing, I think. These marks here, I'm not sure whether it's worn through the red. I'll very carefully have a go at them, and the same on the other side. You can see the stitchings come away in about the 40% along, which we can fix that up all right. This is where most of the damage occurred. It's had water dripping on it for years, and it's messed up the padding underneath and also rotted out the stitches. All fixable, but the great news is where it was unmolested, still lovely. Material feels great. Padding's still good. 30 years out in the Western District of Victoria. Stinking hot and dry every summer. Wet, humid, freezing cold in winter. An open shed. Really amazing. So I'm going to try a 50% mix of terps and water. I think we've got paint spots on here. Got to be paint spots somehow, ended up on it. And these ones here, I'm going to give them gently have a go at them too. Not sure how that'll finish up, but we're going to have a go at cleaning it up. And even long before the 30 years in the shed in Victoria, before that it had 15 years in another shed in Geelong, Victoria, same sort of climate. And for a few years before that, it sat outside with covers over it in Sandringham in Melbourne on the near the beach. So not only did it have heat in summer, cold and wet in winter, it also had very salty atmosphere. Well, that's put a smile on my face. Look at that. More to go, but the worst of it's off. Am I happy? Now what I used is 50% water, 50% terps. I found this at Bunnings, a new product I haven't seen before. Water-based terps. So that mixed really nicely with water. And I went for the dilution, make sure I don't do any damage, which shouldn't anyway. This old vinyl's tough as can be. And it's all coming off. There's a little bit of residue left, which I'll get off. So, water-based terps, some water. Look at that. Well, an hour later, and I've got most of the paint off the vinyl. A couple of tiny little bits left. A couple of spots there. Got to be real careful around that those edges and that piping. And most of it off to the side. A little bit down the bottom, not much, just a few little specks. I ended up using this straight terps. The 50-50 wasn't doing much, so I just kept soaking it. Scrub, soak, scrub, soak, scrub for an hour, and I'll just about beat it. Getting better and better. I did that though. We'll fix it. Seat's looking better. Anyone seen something like this before in the corner? Thought I'd try something different, getting all this grime and muck out of the old seats. Been there forever. So what I did, I boiled some hot water. I thought I'd try hot water, Scotch-Brite, and that's what I'm getting. So applied the hot water with a little bit of Scotch-Brite. Did that a few times, got quite a bit of dirt out. And then I came back with a little scrubbing brush, put some more hot water on, then the scrubbing brush, and it's working really well. I suppose it's close to a steam cleaner without that extreme heat all the time, and it's pretty good. A lot better than that. More hours later on the seats, the front seat. This is where I'm getting to with the base. It's come a fair way from that. It was actually worse than that on the driver's side. Looks a bit more decent. Just keep at it, I think. The back of the front seat, coming up well. Probably about as good as I'm going to get, I think. A lot better than it was. And what I'm using is sugar soap. Quite inexpensive at the supermarket. Dilute it down. Like anything else, do a little test area out of the way first, and but I've always had pretty good results with it. Well, these front seat trim ends didn't do too well all those years in storage. As you can see, all coming apart, dried out, needs work. So give it a good clean up and prep. Get the contact adhesive to work again, and should come up all right. Well, there we are. Cleaned them up, prepped them, used the contact. They're repaired. Both looking decent on the inside now. They come apart. Outsides have been cleaned. Same routine. Boiling hot water with Scotch-Brite. That's released a lot of the dirt. Then wiped it off. Then the sugar soap. Gave it a scrub with that again with the Scotch-Brite. Rinsed it off a couple of times, make sure we get rid of it. And that's what we end up with. I think they're pretty serviceable. Should be good.